Well,
There you go.
my next speaker, we almost didn't have, and that's probably my fault. I got airline tickets for CJ Grisham, and I got it for today, which would have got him here about, what, 6 o'clock or so? So I get a call from the airport, and happily, Florida Carry stepped in, and they got everything straightened out, and they got him tickets. So I'd like to have a round of applause for Florida Carry.
Yeah, Florida Carry!
It's my pleasure to introduce to you CJ Grisham, the founder and president and CEO of Open Carry Texas. You better believe it. Forefront Second Amendment organization. They stand not only for open carry, but for everything the Second Amendment stands for. He's fought for the principles of the Second Amendment for open carry on a 365-day-a-year basis. A true American patriot, CJ Grisham.
First of all, I'm an activist, so I don't like podiums. Second of all, I'm short, and I want you to be able to see who's talking. How's everybody doing? Yeah. I thought it was hot in Texas.
It is!
Thank you all for having me. Thank you for being here. I want to talk a little bit about activism first, and I also want to thank Florida Carry. Yesterday was a very long day. It was, but I got to have fun with the TSA. I got to bomb one of my senator's press conferences who just happened to show up at the airport. It worked out. It was great, and I got here. So, for those of you that don't know, as he said, I'm the founder of Open Carry Texas. I haven't always been an activist. I was a counterintelligence special agent in the Army in 2013 when I was out on a hike with my son one Saturday afternoon. And in Texas, it is perfectly legal to carry a firearm, to carry a rifle out in public. You can carry it anywhere. I can go shopping at Walmart. You've probably seen the pictures of us at the Home Depot and at Walmart and Target and all those other places. We didn't do that until after this happened. But while out hiking with my son, trying to help him earn his merit badge, for his hiking merit badge so that he can get his Eagle Scout, about halfway through a 10-mile hike, I was stopped from behind, and an officer was stopping me, and he came up and he tried to disarm me. And I'm a crusty master sergeant at the time. No one grabs my rifle and gets away with it, and I ended up getting thrown onto the hood of a car. At that point, I turned my video on, and that video went viral. It's unfortunate, but I want you to understand something. There's a lesson here. Texas isn't as Texas as a lot of people think they are. At least it wasn't then, but it's getting a lot better now. We didn't have open carry. We didn't have open carry of handguns there. We weren't allowed to do that. And so after this arrest, I realized for the first time, because spending 21 years in the military, I didn't really get to live in Texas a lot. I lived everywhere but Texas. I got to live in California, Maryland, all the wonderful hot spots where guns mean something. But I never got to come back to Texas, so I never really paid attention to Texas gun laws. And I didn't realize when I came home that every state that I had lived in, except for Maryland and actually California, believe it or not, when I lived in California was an open carry state. But every state besides Maryland that I had lived in the military was an open carry state. Now here I am home at Texas, the home of the Alamo, where the come and take it Gonzales flag comes from, and I can't open carry a handgun without being a criminal, but I can carry this big giant rifle everywhere I go. And so that's what started this need for activism. And what I want to encourage y'all to do, because one of our logos or one of our arguments was that Texas was one of only 6 states that did not allow the open carry of handguns. One of only 6 states. The other states were Florida, Illinois, California, and South Carolina and New York. So Texas, Florida, and South Carolina were anomalies in my mind. Why is it that we are one of only 6 states that doesn't allow open carry? And so we started this process of literally, because I went to the proper gun rights groups, and the proper gun rights groups were doing nothing for me. They were doing nothing for us. And I didn't feel like anyone was out there fighting and taking a stand for our rights, for our gun rights. And so a lot of people got upset about that arrest, and we realized that there's a movement here, and we started the open carry movement, and it kind of spread all over the place. And the idea was to show them that, look, we can carry these giant rifles, but we can't carry these small handguns and not be tossed in a prison cell. And it worked, but let me tell you the road that we went down. We were told that we were hurting the cause. We were told that we were making gun owners look bad. We were told we're never gonna get open carry. As a matter of fact, we're gonna start losing rights. We were called all sorts of names. The NRA called us downright weird. That's a quote. We were called all sorts of things, and we were told that we were hurting the cause, but we pressed on. And we didn't care about any of that because we don't believe in compromise. I'm so glad that Eric was here to talk earlier, Eric Pratt with Gun Owners of America. He just hired a new state director there in Texas, and we so look forward to working with him next year to get constitutional carry in Texas. But we had been fighting so hard to make this happen, and within one legislative session of Open Carry Texas getting founded, we got both open carry passed and campus carry passed, so we can carry on a college campus. We heard all of the same arguments that you are hearing right here in Florida right now, and this is why I really wanted to come and speak to you guys, because I want to give you some advice about how at least we made it work. And I'm not saying that Florida is like Texas, but I know that freedom is like freedom, and liberty is like liberty, and the Second Amendment exists just as much here as it does in Texas. But what I want to tell you is you got to get angry. You got to get loud. You've got to get active. You got to get in the streets. And what you don't have to do is care what people think about your activism. Do what is right, which is standing up for the Second Amendment. Those guys down, let me tell you, I have so much respect because those guys down in Miami, not because they got arrested. There we go, right here. Because what he went through this year, I went through 5 years ago, where I was arrested for doing a completely, perfectly lawful activity. And I know that right now he is undergoing the exact same kind of attacks that I underwent, which is, you're hurting the Second Amendment, you're a danger to the cause, you're making us look bad, just sit down and shut up. You can't do that. You have got to get in these people's faces. You've got to get into their committee hearings. You've got to get into their regional offices. You've got to call them. You've got to email them. You've got to show up on the campaign trail when they're showing up on a campaign trail. You've got to stick a camera in their face and tell them, will you sponsor open carry? Will you sponsor constitutional carry legislation? Will you fight for our rights? The same arguments that we heard about open carry and campus carry. There's going to be blood in the streets. It's going to be the wild, wild west. Everyone's going to start shooting each other. We're not going to be able to give bad grades because a student's going to kill us. We're not going to be able to feel safe in our classrooms and on our streets. I'm not going to be able to eat in a restaurant if I see someone next to me carrying a handgun. None of that came true. None of that came true. All the liberals ran around. We had liberal politicians going from business to business, these rich liberals buying these no gun signs, going business to business, trying to get businesses to put up these no open carry signs. And they were put up everywhere. And guess what? We got blamed. Open Carry Texas, now we can't carry anywhere because now there's no open carry signs all over the place. Well, guess what? The same thing happened in 1996 when we got concealed carry. No one was blaming the NRA for getting concealed carry and all these signs going up. And now, because of Open Carry Texas and activists that are going out there and hitting the streets and fighting for something, almost, I'd say probably half of these signs have come down in the last 2 years since 2015 when we got open carry. Look, what we have got to stop doing is capitulating. We've got to stop pretending that we've got to find middle ground. We're at the middle ground. We need to get back to the Constitution. We've already come halfway away from it. There is absolutely no reason to give anything else up anymore. There is nothing left to compromise. There is nothing left to compromise. The only thing that compromise means is that we give up something. What are they giving up? If they want a bump stock ban, are they going to give us constitutional carry? If they want a full background check, are they going to give us unlicensed carry? Well, I just said that, didn't I? Open carry? I mean, what? There is no compromise with the left. The left wants to take and take. With them, the compromise is how little we're going to fight against you. We might only take this little piece away, or we're going to take this big piece away. It's up to you. If you compromise, we'll only ask for this little snippet. No. Say no. There is no compromise. And I can promise you, if you stand up if you stand up to the liberals that sit in these houses, I don't know where your legislature sits, I'm pointing to this building, but if you stand up to the people who sit in these buildings and you go into their offices and you tell them they are going to be held accountable and you hit the streets, go out there and use the law to your advantage. Don't worry that the media is going to hate you. They're going to hate you. They hate you anyway. You like guns. So who cares if they're making you look bad? It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to make you look bad anyway. So you might as well do something effective. You might as well take a stand. And I hope that you do that. And I want to give you confidence in knowing that taking that stand is not going to hurt gun rights in Florida. It is, and if it does, you need to hold those people accountable that made it hurt. It wasn't a gun owner that made a politician pass a gun control law. It was a politician that made a politician pass a gun control law. And those people need to be held accountable. You need to hold rallies in front of their offices. You need to do those. I love the groups that are out there doing the open carry fishing events. Please do that. Why does that matter? It matters because it shows the people, look, here's a bunch of guys walking down the road. I can see that they've got a handgun, and oh my gosh, they're not shooting anybody. Look, they're fishing, and they're not shooting anybody. Show them. We have to indoctrinate them that they don't have to be afraid. The left and the liberals and government have put fear in the hearts of people that the sight of a gun is something to be afraid of. So you have to show them that the sight of a gun is not something to be afraid of. And the only way, I was in Iraq and Afghanistan. I deal with PTSD, I deal with anxiety, I have trouble in crowds. Believe it or not, I'm very nervous right now. There's a lot of people around me, but I'm happy because I got a lot of armed people around me. Yeah. So it doesn't bother me. But the only way that I got over my anxiety of being around huge crowds after coming home from combat was going in, getting around huge crowds. The only way that someone with PTSD who's in a car crash is able to get back into a car and not be afraid of driving is to get back in a car and start driving. That's the only way you get over that. So if we don't expose the public to the sight of a firearm, of a law-abiding citizen carrying a firearm and not hurting anybody, they're always going to be afraid of it. Fear is ignorance. Ignorance is a lack of education. Education comes from exposure. You have to expose them to your firearms. And I'm not telling people go and open carry everywhere. It's not for everyone. It's not for every opportunity. I don't open carry everywhere I go because sometimes it's just not the thing. But when we're trying to get something passed, whether you're going to open carry or not, please support the idea that someone should have the right to tuck in their shirt. Someone should have the right to take off a jacket. Someone should have a right to sit down to eat and not have to worry about whether or not they're committing a crime. Someone gave me this nice little Glock sock here to put over my pistol and I was so happy that I got this because I looked like a douchebag with my shirt all untucked because I had to cover up my firearm. If I were to take this off right now, other than being a criminal, how does that make me a different person that you can see what's under this sock? And I'm not saying there's a gun under there. How does that make me a different person as a gun owner, whether it's covered up by a thin piece of fabric or you can see it? The only thing that is being protected are the snowflake egos and their fragile psyches. I want y'all to know that Texas is acutely aware of the battle here in Florida. I know y'all just got your red flag laws passed. They're trying to pass that stuff in Texas. We just got done literally last week of 2 straight weeks in a row of battling gun control hearings, trying to pass red flag laws and safe storage laws and all kinds of feel-good type stuff. So we understand your frustration. Texas stands with you. Texas knows what you're going through because we were there 2 years ago. We were there trying to fight for the same things that y'all are trying to fight for. I just wanted to come and encourage you to take a stand, do something, be active, get out there and get involved. Get involved with organizations that are standing up for your rights. If you can't stand with them, throw them $1. If you can't throw them $1, get on their email list and throw an email. Do something. Do something to make your voice heard. And when you can, come up here to the Capitol and testify at hearings. That makes a big difference. There's a big difference when a politician sees 1 lobbyist or 100 activists showing up. Every time there's a gun control bill in Texas and Austin, we make sure that our legislators are there until 2 a.m. listening to us tell them, you better not try it. Woo. And that's what's got to happen here. Make sure that you show up and do those kinds of things. So I think I'm done with my time. I don't need my full 10 minutes. Thank you again for having me here. I love Florida. This is like a second home to me. I grew up in Jacksonville. My dad was in the Navy. So I would have graduated from Nathan Bedford Forest High School, but he moved during my senior year. So Florida is a second home for me. I spent my childhood here. That's why I wanted to come out here and support you guys, because this is my second home. I feel like I'm just as much a citizen of Florida as I am Texas, but I want you to know that Texas is with you in your fight. And if you need anything from us, just holler. Go through Florida Carry or one of these guys, because we have a great relationship with them and we fight with them. So take care. God bless you guys and be free.
Thank you, CJ. Stephen J. Moret is the Director of Member Affairs at Florida Carry Incorporated and represents that important organization at the rally. Stephen is an Air Force veteran, holds multiple certifications from the NRA, Glock, and also is a certified SIRT instructor.